The next thing I'd like to show in Pixlr is basically just the menus and how they work. So first of all, I can go to File, I can Save As, and I'll show you the file types. Some of the main ones, they let you save as a JPEG, PNG, BMP, and a Pixlr layered image, which basically is like a Photoshop file, but it's just specific to Pixlr. It's not that great. However, it does let me save as a JPEG, which is basically what most people want to do anyway. Okay. And if I continue to go through here, I can see my edit menu has the basic undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, free transform, which allows me to change my image. Image lets me change my image and canvas size, rotate my picture and crop my picture. Layer. It's very similar to Photoshop. I can merge layers down, everything flat, create a new layer, create a layer mask. Adjustment. Something that I do like, and I do want to show a few of these. But it has the basic brightness and contrast, very similar to Photoshop. Change the brightness and contrast of the image. Change the hue and saturation. Change the levels and curves. If you want to get a specific color to show up on the screen, like you want everything to be, you want your yellows, or for instance, even just changing this picture a little bit. I mean, look how much nicer it looks. Just changing the blue there, really brightens up the picture. It does have quite a bit of filters. Some of the filters that I like most, obviously, are blur and sharpen. Depending on, for this picture, just looking at it right now, I mean, I'm zoomed in, but if I just sharpen one time, it's going to significantly, I'll start to do it a couple times. You can see how much clearer, the person is. Those are two features in Photoshop that I like to use all the time, are blur and sharpen. You can make a picture look significantly better by doing that. I like to tell my students it's kind of like comparing the difference between a 480p TV, which is a regular TV, and then an HD television. When you sharpen something, you're making it much more crisp and clear to see. And they have the basic things like noise that you can do. One of the features I did like, well, it's one of those ones you play around with way too much, is the Kaleidoscope option. And basically you click Kaleidoscope and you can play around with it, and it forms a nice little kaleidoscope with your picture. Probably not something you'd really ever use. It's not very practical, but it's fun to play around with. And then there's a view where you can zoom in, zoom out, and you choose your languages. And that's basically all that encompasses Pixlr. It's not that large of a program. However, it is nice. It is something simple and easy to use.